Nation, and welcome to another Top 10 Movies of the Year. I am Darveezy.
And I'm Randy Cage.
And today we're talking about our favorite movies of 2021. A very big year. We basically became like 2020 at the first half of the year. Then we were able to start going back to the movie theaters, but starting in June for me. I think you went back a little earlier.
May.
And then we cut back to a little regular, normal movie season, and hopefully we stay with that tempo. So yeah, pretty decent year of movies. I think all 10 of my movies I think are all better than all my number one movie last year.
Probably. I don't remember our list from last year. That's how unremarkable it was. I know you had Bad Boys in your top 10, so...
Yeah, that should tell you it's the end of the world when I have Bad Boys in my top 10. Alright, so you want to start or you want me to start?
It doesn't matter to me.
Oh, I'll start us off. Alright, so as always, 3 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention, I'm going with Free Guy. Free Guy is a movie I really enjoyed. It was a lot of fun. It was a good movie theater experience. Thought Ryan Reynolds was doing his Ryan Reynolds fun thing. I really like Jodie Comer in the movie. I think she's just an incredible movie star that we'll probably be seeing in the next few years. Or another movie not on my list at all, and that was The Last Duel. Thought she was incredible in that movie as well. And yeah, Free Guy's a lot of fun. Love the video game references in there, and I just think it's an enjoyable time in the theaters. My second honorable mention is Licorice Pizza. This was a movie I really enjoyed. I really liked the cast. I really liked the main girl. I thought her comedy in this movie was very on point. Really loved the Bradley Cooper scene. I thought it was probably the best part of the movie. And also some of the other cameos between Sean Penn and the main guy. It's a little creepy, the relationship, but it's fine. I enjoyed the movie. My third and final honorable mention is A Quiet Place Part 2. Quiet Place Part 2, I mean, it was a movie I didn't really need because I was so satisfied with the first movie. But, the second one, I really enjoyed it. I love that it's a Part 2 exactly. It goes right off the events of the first movie. We bring in new characters like Cillian Murphy, who I'm always a big fan of. And I think this movie is great. The action's very tense, and I really enjoyed this film. That's my 3 honorable mentions.
I like them. My first honorable mention is Coda. This is an Apple Plus movie. What is it? Child of Deaf
Adults.
Adults, yeah. And I think I watched this on your recommendation because I don't remember where I saw it from, but it's really good. It's got a ton of heart. It's funny. And everybody gets some really good performances. There's this one in particular where I remember tearing up pretty bad on. And it's just a good little movie that probably won't get a whole lot of awards recognitions this year because it came out in the summer, but deserves it because I enjoyed it a lot. My second one is Till Death, which is a Megan Fox. Is that her name?
Transformers chick?
Yeah, Megan Fox, yeah. She's from Transformers. She's not like the greatest actress in the world. I can't think of anything other than this movie that I've really loved her in.
Oh, she's so good at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
She's hot in the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
But this movie's really cool because it's kind of like what do they call it? Like a Final Girl kind of movie where she's married to this guy. He kills himself and traps her in this house and hires some people to come kill her, and she's just going to try and get out of the house. But it's really good. It's basically just her on screen the whole movie, trying to escape things. I love those kind of movies. One that I kind of think of a couple years ago was the movie with the alligators.
Crawl.
Crawl.
That's all.
Those are always my kind of movies when you're like trapped and you're just trying to get out of somewhere. So if you haven't seen that one, it's kind of a hidden gem of the summer too that I really liked. And then my third honorable mention is Cruella. Disney, sometimes they're so hit and miss with me with their live action retellings, so I went into this with no expectations because man, the last couple ones have been awful. But I really like this one, and this is actually one where they are retelling the story of a Disney villain, and they're not really making her good. I mean, they're just telling you how she ended up the way she ended up. I mean, it makes you relate to her a little bit more, but she's probably one of the worst Disney villains, so you can't really make her a good character. but it's fun. Emma Stone is incredible in the movie. And it's directed really well, and I just really enjoyed this one. It's up there with my probably top 3 Disney live action movies. So those are my honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed Cruella. I really liked Emma Stone in it, and like the side characters like Paul Walker Hauser, and then Till Death Never Saw It. So probably never will. So I'll be honest.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
All right, let's start with my 10 through 6. My number 10 movie you just talked about, Coda. This movie, I was struggling what I wanted to put at my number 10, and I really, really enjoyed Coda. I think Coda really hits you at where the heart is, like the scenes whenever the girl is she wants to be this singer, and her parents just don't get it. And they really need her in their life because without her, their whole business goes apart. And I loved the movie. Like the heartbreaking scene is like whenever they're hearing her singing, and the dad's just crying and trying to connect to her, and those actors are deaf. I mean, it reminded me a lot of like what A Quiet Place did a few years ago with actually casting a deaf chick. I really thought this film did a really good job. And I thought it was such a well done movie, and I had to put it at my number 10. My number 9 is James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I was very surprised by this movie because I hated the last Suicide Squad movie, and this movie, I mean, I do think it throws a little murk into whatever the hell the DCEU is, or the DCFU at this point. But I did really enjoy the film. I think Idris Elba plays a great character in Bloodsport. I really like seeing characters come back like Harley Quinn. I think Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is the best we've seen the Harley Quinn character so far. And also, I really like seeing other characters in there, like King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, was great, and the monster was completely ridiculous at a point. And I think James Gunn was allowed to do whatever the hell he wanted with this movie, and it was fun. Just don't know where we go from here. And also that scene with him and John Cena where they're just killing each other, killing the people and the rebels in the village, and they're just like one-upping each other was absolutely hilarious. Like, why didn't my man alert you were here? What guys? My number 8 is Come On! Come On! This movie is a Joaquin Phoenix black and white story about this uncle who his mom has to try to find her husband, get him into rehab, and so he has to take care of his nephew for a while. And he's a journalist who interviews these kids, and I guess he's making like a documentary type film. This movie's great. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix once again proves of how good of an actor he is. Completely different than what you see in Joker, but that just shows just how good he is in this film. Also, the little kid is very good. I really like the supporting cast. The mom was really good. Come On was one of the last few movies I watched this year. It's a movie I heard was really, really good, and I'm glad I got to see it, and it was loud, and I was able to put it in my list. At number 7, I went with another black and white movie, and that is Belfast. Being black and white is I'm a film noir historian guy. I love my movies black and white, but Belfast looks absolutely incredible in black and white. And it's directed by Kenneth Branagh, who I believe this is based off his life and how he lived in Belfast, how he was moving to England at a very young age, and how he didn't really want to move to Belfast. He didn't really want to move. He liked his life. He liked his life with his grandpa, with his grandma, this girl he finally found a connection with. And the casting is so good. The little kid is great. It's a great coming-of-age story. Ciarán Hinds was absolutely incredible in the movie, and also was Judi Dench. I mean, she was great. The mom was good. The guy from 50 Shades of Grey, he was really good in this movie. This movie was, I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed Belfast, and it's a movie a lot of people probably haven't seen, but it's probably going to get a lot of award buzz, and I recommend checking it out. My number 6 is King Richard. This was a movie where I always say, because I'm a biopic guy, I like sports, and I told him, I was like, this is a good movie. You're like, oh, check it out. And it tells the story of Richard Williams, who is the father to Serena and Venus, and who would become superstars in the tennis world. And I love what this movie does because you think Serena's going to be the main character, really, because you hear more about Serena Williams than you do Venus Williams, but the movie's really more about Venus than Serena. And I think Will Smith should get nominated for an Oscar for this movie. I think he's incredible. I think the mom should get nominated for a supporting actress nomination. And I just think this movie is incredible. The sports shots are great, and also Jon Bernthal. I mean, he's not somebody who gets a lot of credit for what he does, but like this and like what he was in Ford versus Ferrari, I mean, he always brings good work whenever he's in. So I really enjoyed King Richard, and that's my 10 through 6.
Well, I know Belfast was on a lot of YouTubers' list, and so that was the one probably on your whole list that I probably should have watched.
Yep.
I didn't watch. But I just never heard it. Come on, until you just said something about it. And your other ones, I agree.
Okay.
All right. My number 10 is the Netflix Sony animated Mitchells vs. the Machine. This is the one that came out way earlier in the year. I think it was in May. And was one of the Sony animated ones that Netflix bought because, we were in the pandemic. But this movie is crazy. It's the most of the Sony animated movies are like throw everything at the wall, see what sticks kind of thing. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is one I always throw out there. Is when it's done well, but sometimes they're awful. But this one's really good. It's kind of it's about the AI apocalypse, and you just got this family. This girl who's trying to get away from her family and, wants to go off and go to college and get away from her family. And they're kind of stuck in the robot apocalypse together on one last road trip. But it's really funny. It's got a lot of heart. And it was just one at the beginning of the year where I gave a really high score to. I need to go back and watch it again because I don't know if it was deserving of such a high score. But it is a really good movie and one of the better animated movies of the year. And I don't think a lot of people saw it because it was on Netflix, and no one pays attention to Netflix movies sometimes. My number 9 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. This movie blew me away because if you would have told me we were going to take the movie, 2018, is that when Justice League came out? Or 2017? Somewhere around there. If you were going to take a movie from 4 years ago and Zack Snyder was going to recut it, add a little bit of footage, and it was going to make my list in 2021, I would have called you crazy. Because, one, I didn't even think this movie was ever going to happen. But
it's a joke.
That original Justice League, I was going to rewatch it before I watched this one because I wanted to see, how they compared it. Then I was like, it wasn't truly mine. I remember not hating it, but it wasn't that great. And this one is great. This is a great movie, and it makes you, when you finish this movie, you're like, wow, I want to see more Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse is what they're calling it on Netflix. We will bring back the Snyderverse because it's just so well done. Yes, there's still a few things in it where you're like, okay, where it's the normal Zack Snyder stuff, which is a little too much slow-mo, a little too much blaring music over the top of our action scenes, but for the most part, it's such a better movie, and it just shows you that maybe, DC, Warner Brothers, you need to let your directors make movies and quit getting in the way and messing with stuff, and just let your directors make some movies. But yeah, it's great. They took all the comedy out, or a lot of the comedy, and just stuck with the original vision. My number 8 is another Netflix animated movie. This one I think more people saw. It's Vivo. The music is Lin-Manuel Miranda music, which I feel like this has been the year of him and musicals in general this year. It's great. It's about a little capuchin monkey, I think, from in Friends. I think it's the same type of monkey that Ross carries around in Friends, but he's like in I forget where they're at, like Colombia or something, or South America or Puerto Rico. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Puerto Rico, Costa Rica or something.
Yeah, Costa Rica. Yeah, that might be it. Anyways, his owner. You have this real sad Pixar like beginning where I was like, oh man, and then his owner dies basically, and he has to go deliver this letter to his long lost love. His song, yeah, and he runs into this kind of like Gen Z girl, and it's kind of like a little travel movie, road trip movie, but with music, and it's just really well done. Even like sometimes animated musicals, there's a couple songs where you're like, oh, that was kind of lame. Every song in here was just great to me. I loved the songs, and the story was great, and I really, really liked Vivo. That's my number 8. Number 7, another Lin-Manuel Miranda musical, In the Heights. This came out in the summer, bombed horrifically, like a lot of musicals this year. But it was great. It was really, really good. Is it as good as Hamilton? No, but I enjoyed it. The story, I forget what they call their grandma in this movie.
Alabanza.
Yeah, Abuela. Oh yeah, Abuela. Yeah. Oh, her song, and I cried a couple times in this movie, but it's beautiful music throughout. I will say with this one, I think I liked the first half better than the second half, but really the movie's really great. I already bought it on Blu-ray, can't wait to watch it again soon, and it was my favorite musical of the year. Number 6, A Quiet Place Part 2. You talked about this in your honorable mentions. I loved the first Quiet Place, and I was also wondering, like, I'm not like hater of sequels sometimes, but I was like, what are we gonna do with a sequel? You killed off probably your best character from the first movie, and it picks up right where the other one left off. It's edge of your seat kind of movie. There's a couple times, I don't know if I'd call them jump scares, where just stuff happens and I literally like jumped out of my seat. It was so crazy going on. It's well acted. You take your characters and you kind of split them up, which was kind of a cool technique. And at the end of this, I was like, I still want more. So I think they really did a good job of expanding the Quiet Place universe. I guess we're getting a spinoff next, but it's really good. Emily Blunt's great. It was the Deaf Girls movie this time, and she was great in it.
And Cillian Murphy.
And Cillian Murphy's good in it. It was a really good, intense, good sequel. I still think I like the first one a little bit better, but this one was good.
Yeah, I'm surprised you have Justice League in there. I'm completely shocked by that. Especially I don't have that one in there, but there's so many good movies this year. Yeah, Vivo I really enjoyed. I mean, it just goes to show how good Lin-Manuel Miranda's music is, and the story was great as well. So, Mitchell's Machines, probably will never watch it. I'll be honest with you.
It's a good one. I think you should check it out. It's not a musical or anything, but it's a good family, funny. I think you would like it.
Okay, now it's time to give through my 5 through 2. My number 5 is West Side Story. This movie is absolutely incredible. If you like the original, you'll love this movie even more. I love how the cast is more authentically cast. I think Rachel Seliger, I think that's how you say her name. I think she's a superstar. I think you'll see her in a lot of projects over the next few years, and I won't be surprised if she wins the Oscar for Best Actress.
The main girl or the...
Yeah, the main girl. And then Devosa, who was in Hamilton. And the Coming to America is one of the most well-shot musical number, one of the best scenes of 2021, let alone scenes in the movie. That song was so good, the characters, the dance scene was great. And Spielberg just masterclass directs the hell out of this movie, expands of what the story is. A story that's been retold many times. Romeo and Juliet is such a relevant story of two sides that don't think they have anything to get. They don't have anything in common, but really they have a lot of things in common. Just because of the way we look and the way we don't look, we look at different people and like, I don't have anything in common with them. But then you have this commonality. I mean, Shakespeare, to the original version of West Side Story, knew how to tell the story, and I think this movie just does an absolutely incredible job. And I love this movie. And the musical numbers of Tonight was incredible. Like I said, Coming to America was great. And yeah, I love this movie. My number 4 is a movie I was very pessimistic about. Well, I didn't even have in my top 10 anticipated fall movies, and that was Spider-Man No Way Home, mostly because I didn't really care for the last Spider-Man movie. And I loved this movie. I thought this movie was great. I loved that we got to see a lot of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and because I was just like, oh, they're just going to be in a scene or two, but there was that heartfelt moment with great power comes great responsibility of how they lost important people in their lives. I thought that part of the movie was absolutely incredible. The fight scenes, bringing in characters of Doc Ock, bringing in characters like Electro, bringing in William Dafoe back as the Green Goblin, who it was like he hadn't missed a day since 2002's Spider-Man movie. So yeah, and Tom Holland is great in the movie. It's great to see Doctor Strange in this film. Still don't care for MJ. I'm just saying. I'm fine that she has no memory of that relationship. So we can move on. Maybe bring in like a Gwen Stacy type character in the next Spider-Man movies, if they do another Spider-Man movies in the MCU. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. My number 3. This was a movie my most anticipated movie of 2021, and it was my most anticipated movie for 2020, and that is Dune. COVID! Dune was an absolute masterclass directing by my favorite current director with Denis Villeneuve. I mean, this movie is just incredible. I mean, this is better Star Wars than the Star Wars we've been getting. The characters are so good. Timothée Chalamet is amazing in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson's very good in this movie. Oscar Isaac plays a very underrated character, playing the dad of the family. I thought he was great. Jason Momoa was a badass as always, but I really liked what he did, his sacrifice. And then the bad guys, Skarsgård was like he had this Emperor Palpatine kind of moment in the movie. And I'm looking forward to whatever comes next with the Dune movies. I'm expecting there'll be at least 2 more movies, and I'm looking forward to seeing Dune 2 now that it's been greenlit, because I was very worried about this movie being released on HBO Max. And the movie looks beautiful. It's sci-fi, because I'm harder on sci-fi than I am on any other genre of film. And yeah, this movie was absolutely breathtaking. My number 2 is In the Heights. I love this movie. This is the movie without In the Heights, you don't get Hamilton. This was Lin-Manuel Miranda's. This was his claim to fame in screenwriting and playwriting and everything. And the musical numbers, Anthony Ramos playing the Usabi character. And then like the musical number of 96,000 had that very Manuel Miranda where people are singing all different verses of the song at once, and it just goes, only he can really get that mix. Like he had that moment in Encanto, and even that moment in Vivo earlier this year. But yeah, this movie's great. I love it. It tells a story about a neighborhood, about this guy who wants to go back home to Puerto Rico, and then you have all these other characters. They have their dreams. And this movie is just so cast perfectly well. The musical numbers are great. The musical numbers are so catchy. I've listened to the soundtrack over and over again, and I'll probably listen to it over and over again. And when a musical gets me to re-listen to the soundtrack over and over again, the movie has done a good thing. So yeah, this movie's great. I love it, and yeah, it had to be number 2. It was number 1 all year until one movie came out. So yeah, it's my 5-3-2.
All right. I mean, I agree with everything except for I don't think we could be further on polar opposites of West Side Story. You can go look at my review, but it just didn't, which I've never seen the original, so maybe you're right. Maybe if you really like the original, you're going to love this, probably. I wouldn't see why not. Was there any new songs or anything, or was it just all the same songs?
It was all the same songs. They cut some songs, actually.
Oh, well, I don't know. I was bored out of my mind. I did not like the main girl. But I did like that one song that you and all the reviewers keep mentioning. It's the greatest moment of cinema history, Coming to America. That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, to be honest with you. But other than that, I agree with all your other picks here. I'm going to go with my number 5, which is The Suicide Squad, which you talked about earlier. I am not a Suicide Squad hater. I actually enjoy the first movie. It does have a horrible villain, yes, but Harley Quinn and Will Smith, Deadshot, are my 2 favorite characters, and I was like, and when we went into this movie, they were like, well, Harley Quinn's in it, but she's not like a main focus of it, and Will Smith's not in it because of scheduling conflicts. You know all how that goes. So I was going in a little scared, and it kind of blew me away right from the get-go. Just like the opening scenes where we wipe out half the Suicide Squad, and then we go in.
Awesome.
We go in. That jungle scene is still one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where they're taking out all the bad guys, and they walk in the tent, and he's like, "Oh, those were our allies. They're helping us out here." It was just really funny. It was definitely let James Gunn do whatever the hell he wants, because this came off of, he just got fired from Disney, and of course DC snapped him up real quick and was like, come on, come make us the Suicide Squad movie. Yes, it's very confusing in the DCEU FU. I like that, the DCFU, because, with this and Zack Snyder, you're like, what in the hell is going on? Like, I don't know. You can't even consider the DCU anymore in these movies. You just gotta go into the movie and just be like, is it good or not? Like, that's how I'm gonna go into Batman. That's how we both like Joker a lot, and had nothing to do with the DCEU. Who knows what they're doing? I think they should just reset it. I think they should just use Flashpoint and just reset the whole damn thing. But I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's dark. It is over the top, but it's funny, and I really, really liked it. This was up high up on my list for a long time. Number 4, Free Guy. I loved Free Guy. This is one of the movies I've actually seen twice this year, and I could watch it again. It is so much fun. It's got so much heart. It's really what The Matrix was trying to do, where,
That's number 1.
yeah. Spoiler alert. It's just ton. Ryan Reynolds, yes, is being his Ryan Reynolds self, but when you see the trailer, you're like, what is this going to be? It kind of reminded me of like Ready Player One type of storyline, but it's just done so well, and it's hard to explain, but you've got a character, and surely most everybody's seen it, but he's in the video game, a character in the video game. He kind of becomes self-aware, and it's a love story. It's got cool action. It's a comedy. It's just a really good movie, and I had a great time with it. And I would be game for some more, and I think we are going to get some more, because apparently the Disney execs loved this movie. That's why they held out, because I guess this movie was ready to go 2 years ago. And
it was a movie made by 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
So,
and Disney was like, no. My number 3 is Dune. Like he was talking about it earlier, Denis Villeneuve directs this movie. I'm still not counting him as the greatest director of all time yet.
No, I said current director. He's the director I get most excited about when a movie he's making.
But I will say I'm not a fan of the old Blade Runner, and the new Blade Runner I really enjoyed. I loved what's the movie?
Prisoners.
Sicario. Didn't he part of that?
Yeah.
And
Prisoners
is great.
And Arrival.
Arrival. I need to rewatch it. I bought it the other day. I need to rewatch it, but. He's a pretty cool director. Visually, it's like the scope of everything's so epic and big, and it looks real, and this story was really cool. What's really cool about this movie is, like you said, it's like Star Wars, but it's a little bit deeper, but then also it's the way he tells the story and stuff. It's good for average people to watch. Like, I know so many people who went into this movie who really enjoyed it, and they're not like nerds, and so that's always a good thing. And really my only nitpick of this movie, because I thought it was pretty much perfection, was it's kind of only half of a movie. We're gonna get a part 2, maybe a part 3, I hope, and that's really my only complaint. And at the time we didn't know if we were gonna get any more, and man, that would have really sucked for this film if this is all we got. It's great. The music's great. I can't wait. I'm holding out. I wanted to watch it again, but I was like, I want to wait till that 4K Blu-ray comes out and really blow my home away with the surround sound and everything, and rewatch it again. So I think it's coming out in a couple weeks. So that's my number 3. My number 2. This movie really blew me away. King Richard. You were talking about it. It was something I wanted to see, but a lot of times I have this bad habit of like, I like sports movies a lot, but I have this bad habit, if it's a sport I don't care about, I have no interest in King Richard. I don't care about tennis. I love Will Smith, but so I went in with that attitude. I was like, I'm not gonna like this movie, and it blew me away. I loved everything about it. It made me, after the movie, look up the stuff about it, and King Richard's amazing. Will Smith's amazing as the father in this movie. There is a speech he gives towards the end of the movie that just I was bawling, crying. It was so good. So yes, he will get nominated. I think he has a chance of winning for Best Actor. But he's so good in the movie. But yeah, even the supporting cast, his wife in the movie is really good. The kids are good. John Bernthal's great in it. It's a really, really good movie, and this will be one where never in a million years would you thought I would buy this movie and watch it again. And yeah, blew me away. Super, super good. Was my number one movie until December 17th came around.
You mean 22nd?
22nd?
Yeah, The Matrix.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. But yeah, that's my 5 through 2.
All right, my number one was a movie that I was very looking forward to. And my number one is Tick. Wait, I hear something.
Tick.
Boom! Tick Tick Boom was a movie told by the story of Jonathan Carson, the guy who created Rent, which really revolutionized musicals. And this was a movie where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to get into. I've never seen Lin-Manuel Miranda direct a movie, so that was something I was very interested in. And man, does he knock this movie out of the park. I think he just gets it. This movie's very inside baseball, so people that don't like musicals, this may not be the movie for you. Like this guy. And I love musicals, and I love everything it does in this movie. I think the musical numbers are incredible. I've listened to the soundtrack over and over again. And Andrew Garfield, I mean, this guy is one of the most talented actors in Hollywood right now. I mean, from Hacksaw Ridge, Silence, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, to even in The Social Network. This guy always brings us quality work, and that's why I say Will Smith shouldn't win the Oscar, because I think Andrew Garfield, I think he's due for an Oscar this movie. His guy, he taught himself how to sing, a guy who never really sang his entire life. And when you see someone that talented, you're like, man, that's just unfair. And he taught himself how to play piano. And also this movie is a biopic. And I love me a good biopic. And I wasn't expecting that out of this movie, especially from a first-time director from Lin-Manuel Miranda. And that's what blew me away about this movie, and the heartfelt, and how the story of it is about failing. How failing is a part of life, and you need to write what you know. And I think this movie just does a terrific job. And also the cast was great. Vanessa Hudgens was very good. Alexander Shipp was very good, and some of the other supporting characters who are very theater character actors, I thought they were very good in this movie. So Tick Tick Boom blew me away when I saw it, and I'm surprised it's my number one, but I'm not that surprised. So yeah, that was why it's my number one.
Well, unlike West Side Story, I did not hate Tick Tick Boom. I get Andrew Garfield's amazing in it. The music's pretty good. The story was kind of the boring part for me, but like you said, maybe it's just because I don't know. I like maybe more modern and more public appealing musicals. I don't know what it is about this movie. I was just kind of bored for a lot of it. But I understand. I'm glad this is number one and not West Side Story, because woo! We are total opposites on that movie. But yeah. All right. My number one is The Matrix Resurrections.
Woo!
No.
Oh.
No, I hated that movie.
Never saw it.
No, my number one is Spider-Man No Way Home, which was one of my most anticipated movies. I think Dune was my most anticipated. This maybe was my second. But so I was on board. I liked the last two Spider-Mans, especially Homecoming. I thought was incredible. I really did like Tom Holland. He was my favorite Spider-Man so far, and this movie really solidified it for me. I mean, right from the gate, I had the same worries as you, though, even though I maybe didn't voice them. I was worried that we were just going to get these villains and maybe our other two Spider-Mans were going to show up, but it was going to be like at the end of the movie and a big battle action scenes. That's not what they do. They actually, Sony was really smart about it, and we had, and Marvel, you know, these villains were integral to the plot right from the beginning, and you get redemption stories for some of them. I'd say Doctor Strange probably is the most non-integral to the plot of this movie. Even the Spider-Man characters, they're in for it for like half the movie. Andrew Garfield's great. I even liked Tobey Maguire. I liked their chemistry. I would love to see a movie with them too. I'd love to see an Andrew Garfield movie in a completely different universe, fighting what's his name's Venom, if that's what we're gonna do. I don't know, because that's one thing about this movie is it leaves it hanging confusingly on what we're getting in the future, but it's a good trilogy. It's a good, great end to the trilogy. Tom Holland, it's got a ton of heart. I think it's the most Spider-Man movie, because in the other two movies, you know, he was just a boy, a high school boy. This movie, he becomes Spider-Man, and I don't hate MJ, but I will say she's probably one of the weaker points. But we get a lot of her and Ned in this movie, which is good. They have good chemistry and stuff, and it's kind of cool seeing them hang out together. And I think the relationship between Gwen Stacy and Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, that's the best Spider-Man relationship still. But Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man now, because this movie is just incredible. I wanted to go see it again. I'm planning on it maybe tomorrow, but it's just been busy. But I loved it. It was fun.
Okay. So guys, that concludes another top 10 movies of the year. Man, it was an enjoyable ride, and I can't wait to do it again next year, or this year. Actually, we'll probably do it next year, because we always do it at the end of the year. Timey-wimey thing. So guys, make sure you check out Randy Cage at his Letterboxd every so often. It might be a while before you see another written review, because there may not be some movies out for a little bit. Also, guys, check out the Easy K Show on Sundays on the Darth Easy YouTube channel. We have all these great episodes, so if you want to see these beautiful faces, make sure you check that out. And guys, also make sure you check out my main Darth Easy YouTube channel, so you can check out my latest movie reviews, TV reviews, and anything else that comes out in the Darth Easy universe. So guys, until next time, all too easy.